Hello, this is Granison Shines. No voice, no power. The study of power, my documentary and study of power. And one of the things that intrigued me throughout this study thus far is that in talking to a lot of people and asking them about power is that they were never taught how to use power. We teach our kids things and our parents taught us things, but no one ever taught us how to use power. We hear the word power used. You have the power to do this. You have the power to change your mind. You have the power to do this. You have the power to lose weight. We use power. And this is why I said in another video, we use power very loosely in our society. I could tell you what power, when I started this study, I asked my question, what is power? And I had to understand, I could articulate, give you the meaning of power, but I didn't understand what power really was, let alone how to get it, how to use it appropriately, how to wield it, how to make sure that I can use this power to make money, and how I can use this power to help somebody else that way, in perspective. So what I usually do for myself is, when I really want to understand something, I study it, like I'm studying power. But I've observed that we do not teach our kids how to use power. For instance, when I turned 21, neither one of my parents taught me about drinking and alcohol. And I told my daughter, when you turn 21, daughters, when you turn 21, if you want to go have a drink, daddy's going to go out with you and we're going to have a drink. I know there are some higher echelon people in society that may talk to their children about power, or they may mention power or tell them some techniques here and there. But everyone, a lot of people in my circle, my group, and I do know some people that are a little up there and some that are down there and everything in between. And no one has sat them down and told them, this is power, this is how you get it, this is how you use it. Why haven't we been taught how to use power? What happens though, what I've noticed is that we're thrown into power positions and we don't understand how to yield it or wield it correctly. We don't understand how to use it appropriately to manage people, to be a leader, to do whatever. So we're thrown in these power positions because people want power, but they don't understand what it really is. They get it, and that's why I think Lord Acton said power tends to corrupt, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men always tend to be bad men. You have these great men who were never taught how to use power, or people in society, even in a very, very localized area, not taught how to use power, not taught how to get it. Understand power positions and what that can bring, but not understanding what power is and how to appropriately yield it, wield it to benefit. That's a travesty. Wow. And I was talking to one of my daughters this weekend, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to tell my daughter about this study and this documentary. And I'm going to have her start learning things that I am learning now at 40 years old. She's 15. By the time she's 40, she should be a powerhouse. If she gets it, grasps it, and everything else, she'll be a powerhouse. There's certain characteristics that you have that people of power, and I'll be revealing this later, there are certain characteristics that people of power have, whether they were born with it and it's just in their DNA and their makeup, or they learned how to be this way. For me, I know I have to learn how to be a certain way. I was not always, people said they saw me as a businessman when I was little, but I had to learn how to become a businessman. I had to learn how to step into power. I got power one time when I was very young. I was 23, 24. Got into this management position, maybe a little younger than that. I got into this management position at a company I worked for. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And my managers didn't teach me about power. But I can see them teaching me things, and I remember them teaching me things that were power plays or things of power like a manager would think. But they never took me to the side and said, hey, Granison, now you have to learn how to use your power in order to manage these people. Now you have to learn how to use your power in order to get what you want in order to do this. But what I have noticed also, and I was just talking to one of my friends about it, people in power come across a different way to people that are in less power. Meaning this, they can come across abrasive, they can come across aggressive, they can come across as being arrogant. Those people that are in power, one of the mentors, he's a really powerful guy, and he comes across pretty arrogant. Used to come across to me kind of arrogant. I understand now that he's in a position of power, how that works and how he has to be more direct. how he has to change his language, how to change his ideas and ways of thinking, and how he has not let people waste his time. I hate people wasting my time, by the way. That's one of my pet peeves. So maybe that's already suited for the right area and how to use power. But hey, and this guy's a powerful guy in his community. Now, I also have identified there's 7 different powers. I call them 7 types of powers, the 7 P's of power. I'm going to be revealing that. And based on what I know about society, what I know about friendship, people, relationships, whatever, and in society, I've identified every aspect of power into these 7 types of power, and I'll be revealing that. But again, we have not taught our kids how to use power. We'll teach them. We go to school, they go to school, we teach them how to do this and do that, whatever, but we don't teach them how to appropriately use their power. Even as a birthright area, you being the oldest child, you should have power over this sibling, that progeny power. It's one of the powers we'll talk about, but it's like, or even the power that the child has over the parent. This is vastly different from my way of thinking, traditional way of thinking. But we have not taught power. You can't go to university, even though this is a lot of things, people want a lot of power, and they want money, and they want the sex that comes with it. Money, power, sex, power, money, sex, however you want to, whatever order you want to put it in. But no one teaches anybody how to use power. Okay, Robert Greene wrote the book, 48 Laws of Power. Is it a guide? Yeah, maybe, kind of, sort of. Yeah, could be. Very interesting book. You should get that book and read it. It's very good. It's one of my readings, 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. But no one sat me down and said, this is how you use your power. But yet I find myself, or I have found myself in the past in power positions and not understanding why is it such a struggle to do this particular thing when I have this power. I was never taught how to use power. I was never taught how to connect to power. I was never taught that connecting to people in certain ways and thinking with certain things and saying certain things. I was never taught that my voice was my power. I was never taught that. Tragedy, travesty, whatever you want to call it. It's something that should be, as much as we use it in our society today, power should be fully understood by every single person before they get into a position of power. We don't do that. I don't know. Why not? Let's change that. That's what I'm about to do right now, is change that by giving information in this documentary and telling you about my experiments. Had another experiment this weekend, and stuff is crazy. It is. I just gotta make sure I stay grounded. I'm gonna continue to bring this information to you, but power is a trip. Can be a trip. Hence, no pun intended, power trip. Later.